try and get up every morning, day after day, and work for a living. Let's see him try that. Then we'll see who's the real tough guy. The working man is the tough guy.
With me, Joe Wilson, a wealth management advisor with a big money management house.
More money, yo money, Joe money.
I get an opportunity to help people turn their money into memories.
We're happy to get the kind of money that jingles, but we'd rather get the kind that folds.
Not your grandpa's financial show. This is your money guy, Joe Wilson, on Progressive Voices Network.
What's going on, my money mavens and moolah misfits? It's me, your money guy, Joe Wilson of the Joe Knows Money Show, reporting live on Progressive Voices Network, delivering you 4 minutes of money news you can use. Trending this week in money news, in a recent Federal Reserve Board study, only 53% of respondents indicate that they could cover a hypothetical emergency expense costing $400 without selling something or borrowing money. In some cases, it's a lack of income that creates the financial stress. In many cases, however, the problem is overspending. That leads me to my next topic, 5 budgeting tips. Tip number 1, understand the goal. The goal of a budget is not to track every dime that we spend. The goal of a budget is to help us control our spending so that we can spend less than what we make and focus on spending on what matters most to us. However you choose the budget, it should meet this goal. If it doesn't, you're doing it wrong. Tip number 2, keep it simple. The best way to get started is to put together a very basic list of your monthly income, i.e. your paycheck, and expenses. Just give it your best guess. Stick to listing things that can easily be identified, such as rent, car payment, insurance, utilities, etc. As time goes by, you can add more detail. Tip number 3, track spending for a week. While not the goal of budgeting, tracking every dime you spend for a short period of time will be eye-opening. It will show you how spending even small amounts of money add up over time. It will also reveal areas of spending that otherwise go unnoticed. Ideally, one should track their spending for a full month, but even tracking for a week can provide valuable information about your spending patterns. Tip number 4, charge it. Paying with plastic is an easy way to monitor your spending. If you need to know how much you spend on something during the month, you'll have that information at your fingertips. Using a reward credit card can also add cash to your bank account. If you don't want to use a credit card, use a bank debit card or a prepaid card instead, preferably one that charges very little in fees. Tip number 5, try the 50-20-30 plan. Popularized by Senator Elizabeth Warren in her book, Are Your Worth, this approach to budgeting benefits from simplicity. With this plan, 50% of income goes to necessities, 20% to long-term savings, and 30% to lifestyle choices. This plan can be a good starting point for those struggling to decide how much they should spend on an individual budget category. Now it's time for Joe's Money Trap of the Day. Given the goal of budgeting, most people do not need to track every dime they spend. For example, knowing how much you'll spend on gasoline may be interesting, but if it doesn't change your behavior, there's no point in tracking this expense. Most people overspend in just a few categories. Common examples include eating out, buying clothes, buying gadgets, and entertainment. Using the data accumulated from tracking your spending, pick the 3 budget categories you'll like to bring under control and monitor your spending in just these areas. Here's Joe's money grab of the day. Save first. Remember, the goal of budgeting is to spend less than we make. One of the best ways to do this is to save first, rather than spending what is left over at the end of each month. Save first and spend the rest. This strategy takes advantage of behavioral finance. By getting money out of your checking account into your savings first, we are less likely to spend our savings during the month. And now it's time for Joe's quote of the day. The budget is just not a collection of numbers, but an expression of values and aspirations. This is a quote by Jacob Liu. You are listening to the Joe Knows Money Show on Progressive Voices Network. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Joe Knows Money and on Twitter at Joe Knows Money.